On July 1st, 1867, what was then called the British North America Act brought together the provinces of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Canada into a single dominion that would be called Canada. Over 150 years later, this holiday is still celebrated all throughout our neighbors to the north. You know, Canadians make up the largest number of non-American visitors to Las Vegas and have given us one of Las Vegas's greatest performers, Celine Dion, and of course, one of its greatest slot channels, hosted by Brian Christopher. Today, you can go to the D in downtown Las Vegas and visit Bar Canada. Today, we celebrate our neighbors to the north and their very special holiday on a very special Vegas Weekly.
Our home and native land. The words I don't understand. God save the Queen. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee.
Wow, that was really something, wasn't it? I don't know who those people were. But hey, it's our Canada Day special. Canada Day coming up on July 1st. So we're going to have a couple more segments later in the show featuring a Canadian theme of sorts. Wanted to thank everybody that joined us on Wednesday night. I want to apologize for cousin JP. He was a bit out of hand, as can typically be the case, but people demand him. So at least a few dozen people demand him. So thanks for coming out for the live stream. It was a good time. Congratulations to Joel for winning our $25 gift card. And congratulations to everybody that's helped make the Facebook group successful. We hit 15,000 members this past week. So great number. If you're on Facebook and you're not in the Facebook group, and it's not because you've been kicked out, feel free to join us there for some fun discussion and some occasionally informative things. So lots of pictures and videos of Las Vegas if you're missing the city. This week's been a not great news week for Las Vegas. We did see the reopening of the Luxor on Thursday, and we are still anticipating this Wednesday to see Oyo, Mandalay Bay, Delano, Four Seasons, and Aria all come back online, but we have not seen any more official hotel announcements, speculation over the last day or so that Mirage would plan a July 16th opening. Still nothing official on that. In fact, this morning, some indications that maybe that's not going to happen. We heard some rumors again about the Tropicana, and this time the rumors were a September 1 reopening. That's kind of a long ways out. So if you're a big fan of the Tropicana, you're going to have some more time to wait, I'm afraid. And I'm afraid the news from Nevada and from much of the U.S. this week was not so good as a result of increasing cases of the COVID-19 virus. And the most recent reaction to that news has been a directive from the governor of Nevada that people in public spaces shall don masks or face coverings of some sort in the attempt to reduce the spread of the virus. I mean, it's not really surprising that we've seen an uptick. You saw not only a relaxation in restrictions in a number of places, but you had Memorial Day weekend where there seemed to be a significant lack of social distancing. And then you had a number of protests all over the country. Again, lots of people brought together in one place. So it's not just casino patrons, but clearly it's provoked a reaction. People see the cases going up. They want government to do something. And frankly, requiring masks in a public place is a much milder case of doing something than closing businesses down completely. So hopefully this will help. Although if it is seen as helping, it may be a requirement for many months to come. So just keep that in mind. Does it make you less likely to go to Las Vegas or your local casino? Caesars and MGM have all announced that they're requiring face coverings at all their casinos nationally. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose it does. And I suppose the increased risk we see definitely having an effect on some folks, either canceling trips out of just concern, or dealing with travel restrictions or quarantine restrictions or restrictions in their job that may keep them away from Las Vegas. So, again, not a great news week, but we remain optimistic. And you know who always remains optimistic is our friend PJ. And PJ really started this whole Canada Day celebration with his Canadian-themed cocktail this week. So let's check out what he's cooking up in his amateur bar. PJ, take it away.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cocktail of the Week with your host and not a professional bartender, PJ.
Hey, John, thanks again for that other fabulous introduction. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Cocktail of the Week on Vegas Tips and Tricks. I want to just thank John again for allowing me to do this little segment on his show every week. And really appreciate all you guys tuning in to watch his show and my little bit. So today's special treat is going to go to all my friends who are watching north of the border. That is Canada. We're going to do a special little drink for a friend of mine up there in Canada who constantly talks about this drink, but I'm going to add a little kicker to it. We're going to be adding some Canadian Crown Royal. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be making a Crown Coke Slushy. Let's try to Crown Coke Slushy. Just 2 ingredients, Coke and Crown Royal. This is going to be pretty easy. We're going to blend it to give it that nice slushy feel. And then we're going to drink it. So ladies and gentlemen, come right back. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Now let's build the Crown Coke Slushy. First thing we're going to do, just going to get our blender cup out. We're going to get our ice cubes, which are made out of, I'm going to just show you here up close, Coke. That's right, Coke cubes. So I had these Coke cubes, we'll say in the freezer for about maybe 5 hours. They're not frozen completely. You don't want them real hard because they are going to go in the blender. And get those in there. All right. Maybe adding a few more in just a little bit. All right. Next, we're going to put in 1.5 ounces of Crown Royal in our Toronto shot glass. I just want to point that out. Toronto shot glass. Alrighty, put the top on. Bring in our magic bullet blender. And ladies and gentlemen, let's cross our fingers and hope this works. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back with our Crown Coke Slushy, and if you make this at home, I think the only difference is have a better blender. All right, here we go. Here we go. The Crown. On top, and oh, Canada. Is that gonna work? Good stuff. What's this is not an epic fail, but I know you guys are thinking I'm gonna bust the glass. There we go. Is that gonna work? Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, there is the Crown Coke Slushy. This goes out to my friend Claudia up in Toronto. Cheers, everybody. How does this taste? It tastes damn good. I licked the spoon. We're going to try it again. Oh, you know what? Is epic a fail? As that might have been trying to make it, this puppy tastes really good. Yep. You glad you saw it here? That's all I can say. John, help me. Get me out of here, buddy. Take me away. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, please help John out. Subscribe. Leave a comment. You got to have a comment after this episode. Leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to John's channel, Vegas Tips and Tricks. He puts out a great show week in and week out. And John, thanks again for this. Please, sir, please take it away. As always, ladies and gentlemen, please drink responsibly. Cheers, Canada. That's good.
All right, PJ, get a better blender. That's our Vegas, non-Vegas tip of the week. Get a good blender. That looked like a bit of a struggle, but I'm guessing that's a pretty tasty cocktail. So there you go, a Canadian-themed cocktail for our Canada Day special. We talked about some Canadians in Las Vegas history, but today we're going to talk about downtown Las Vegas. We're most particularly going to talk about a site which has gotten a lot of attention lately, and that is the site of the Circa Hotel and Casino. It has a long and somewhat checkered history, so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. In fact, we're going to be talking about downtown Las Vegas history over the next several weeks because there's so many little clubs and hotels and motels that have existed downtown over the years. It's kind of fun to learn about them. Of course, prior to Circa, there were basically 3 properties there on that block of Fremont Street. The Las Vegas Club or Vegas Club, the Girls of Glitter Gulch, and then Mermaids. We're going to focus in on the Las Vegas Club today because it has a very long history in Las Vegas. The site of the Las Vegas Club until recently was originally the site of the Overland Hotel, which was built in 1905, I believe, 1905, 1906, burned down a few years later and was rebuilt and remained at that property for many decades. The original Las Vegas Club was not on that site, but was in fact across the street. And if you can kind of remember how that street was set up, where the Golden Gate is now, originally the Hotel Nevada, and then the Saul Sageb Hotel. And then next to that was what was originally the Northern Club, later became the Monte Carlo, And after that became La Bayou, which of course was absorbed into the Golden Gate within the last couple of years. Just to the south of that was the original site of the Las Vegas Club, which I think would put it basically where the ABC store is now. It operated starting in 1930. 1931, it put up the second neon sign that would exist anywhere in the city. If you go back and look at pictures from the 30s and 40s, you'll see the distinctive Las Vegas Club sign. It wasn't until 1949 that the Las Vegas Club would move across the street to the 18 Fremont location, right tucked in next to the Overland Hotel, which was built up and around it. The casino would eventually expand all the way out to Main Street. In the early 60s, it was acquired by Jackie Goen, who's one of the pivotal figures in Las Vegas, certainly downtown Las Vegas history, of course owning most recently before his death the El Cortez, but owned the Plaza, the Las Vegas Club, the Western, the Gold Spike, was an investor at one time in the Golden Nugget. So Jackie got around, originally from Nebraska, as is me. So they owned that property until the 2000s. It grew to be a pretty successful and a pretty good value property. It boasted the most liberal blackjack rules in the world, all kinds of doubles and splits and everything else. It had a sports memorabilia theme, particularly a baseball memorabilia theme during much of its later years. It had the second largest collection of baseball memorabilia outside of Cooperstown. In addition, there was a kind of a sports bar. The cocktail waitresses wore cheerleading outfits, which might have been more entertaining if most of them hadn't been well past their cheerleading years. Unfortunately, the property continued to decline throughout the 2000s. It was sold in 2007 to the Tamaris Company, along with the Plaza and the Western, and I believe even the Gold Spike was included in that deal. The hotel became more and more rundown, eventually was pretty much closed except on the weekends or as kind of an overflow for the Plaza next door. There were thoughts about turning the property into some sort of a timeshare or apartment complex, but that fell through, probably in part because of the economy. And for those of you who, like myself, may have been in the Las Vegas Club in its later days, it had become a sad shell of what was once kind of a fun property. So there were plans at one point to build a drugstore here, but ultimately that site, along with the site of Glitter Gulch and Mermaids, was sold to the Stevens brothers. And in 2016, the Vegas Club, as it was called in its later years, would close its doors and be demolished to make way for what is now Circa. So now you know the rest of the story. And that's this week in Vegas history. You know, before we start on this week's Vegas tip or trick, I thought it would be cool to have kind of a Canadian tip or trick this week, or maybe we should call it a Canadian best idea. Here's our friends Tamara and Gord, all the way from Saskatoon, with some thoughts on Canada and Canada Day. Take it away.
Hey guys, it's your Canadians Vegas Best Ideas. We just wanted to wish you Happy Canada Day!
Just in case you didn't know, we are from Canada. Alright, you guys probably already know about Tim Hortons. It's our local coffee shop here in Canada. And if you haven't been watching our vlogs, you might not know about this, but Malibu is made in Canada, surprisingly. And this is Gord's favorite dessert. It's called
Nanaimo bars, which is basically butter and chocolate. How can you go wrong with that? It's awesome.
And coconut.
And coconut, yes.
It's a very popular dessert in Canada. And how could we forget about
poutine?
Poutine.
Look at that, guys.
Cheese curds are the key here, guys.
And our buddy Chico's Donuts from Las Vegas, he calls it the poutang, or the poutine.
Anyways, we wish we could share some of these with you guys, so we're sending them through the the video here, and hope you all have a great Canada Day, the fellow Canadians, and to our American friends, happy 4th of July, the few days later.
You bet. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks for that segment. I appreciate you taking the time to put that together. I got to try me some poutine. I've never had the poutine, but it has many of the components that I love in food. Basically fat, but cheese and gravy and stuff. So definitely need to try some poutine sometime soon. Today, as you know, for the last several weeks, we've been talking about comps and how to get better comps. Last week, we discussed some tips for first-time players. And today, we're going to talk about a tip for more established players who may be looking to improve their comps without necessarily spending more money. Of course, you can always gamble more, but there are ways to kind of take advantage of the system. And even though you may have a somewhat reduced bankroll as a result of it, you'll probably also get better deals. We've talked many times about ADT, or average daily theoretical. And basically it's an attempt to measure your value to the casino. And it takes into account three things, basically how long you've been playing, or how many hands, or how many bets you've made, the size of that bet, and then the take of the game you play. So if it's a game that benefits the casino more, like a slot machine or Keno or something like that, you're going to have a higher ADT than if you're playing, say, video poker, or if you're an expert blackjack player. Obviously, as I say, you can up one of those figures and you're going to get better deals, but that's probably also going to potentially break your budget. So we're going to assume that you're going to go to the casino with the same exact budget, but we're going to tweak the way you play in the hopes that it will earn you better deals. Now again, keep in mind, in the long run, you're probably going to lose more money. But instead, if you have a gambling budget and that's the way you think about it, this is some ways that you can improve your comps. First of all, consider changing the game you play. So say if you're playing the best video poker in the building, or you're playing blackjack at an expert level, then the casino's take of that play is going to be pretty small. So consider playing roulette, for example, or consider playing slots. You may not be able to play as long, you may lose more frequently, but if you're going to the casino with the idea that you're going to blow $200 or $300 anyway, then doing it that way is much more likely to result in better room offers or free play than playing the very, very best machines. Of course, that's going to be anathema to some of you, but that's the reality. The other thing you can do is increase the time you play. Let's say you go to the casino and you have your bankroll and you're going to you play until your bankroll is gone, or for 3 hours. Well, maybe you play until your bankroll is gone and you play 4 or 5 hours. So you're going to extend your play. Now again, you're more likely to lose your money, but you're going to also be seen as more valuable to the casino. Thirdly, increase your bet size. If you play quarter video poker, consider playing 50-cent video poker. You have a much greater chance of ruin. You may not get as much play in, but you're going to be seen as a higher denomination player. And again, that's more likely to generate some positive room offers. So just keep in mind, there are always going to be trade-offs for this. If you want to sit and play blackjack for hours and hours on end at a $3 or $5 table with great rules, you're not going to get the comps you would get if you go into the casino and you blow $300 on slot machines in a couple of hours. That's just the reality. But you can still keep your budget, and you can still have a good time. And if you take advantage of some of these tips, you have a chance to earn better comps. So that's our Vegas tip or trick of the week. And we'll be back again, as always, next week with another tip. And we'll also be back, of course, next week with another episode of Vegas Weekly. I hope that you've enjoyed our Canadian-themed show today. If you have, please leave a comment, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what's stopping you? It's absolutely free. And then you'll get, and if you click that bell, you'll also get notifications anytime we do anything fun or exciting on the show. I just want to thank everybody for watching. We will see you all again next week. Until then, have a great and lucky week and healthy week. We'll see you soon.